Hey, welcome again to another edition of Wheel of Albums. Along with my brother Adam and our friend Jack, I am Justin. What we do here on Wheel of Albums is we spin a wheel of the 1001 albums you must hear before you die from Robert Dimery's book. Then we take a whole week and listen to that album a few times, and then we get together afterwards and we share our thoughts and opinions on if we think that album is worth hearing before you die. This week, The Who, Sell Out. 1967 effort by The Who, spun by Adam. We listened, now we talk.
We're getting cheeky and rocking out with The Who Sell Out.
My first reaction was Adam texted, "We haven't had our first true rock record yet." And after listening to this for a week, I can say we still haven't had our first true rock record yet. That's pretty cheeky, Adam.
All right, so the wheel spun and it was The Who Sells Out. And I just anticipated, well, great, it's going to be The Who. I'm going to be familiar with quite a few songs. Not so fast, old Woodsy.
That's pretty cheeky, Adam.
So upon finding out we were going to listen to The Who Sell Out, I thought, all right, another good rock record to listen to, and kind of had remembered that I had heard it before and started thinking about it a little bit. It's like, you know what? I don't know if I actually liked this Who record or not.
That's pretty cheeky, Adam. Also, I'm glad that you're finally getting over the flu. Disclaimer, Adam's voice is feeling kind of rough right now.
Did you guys find out anything interesting or learn anything about The Who Sell Out while we listened this week?
I did not realize that there was so much litigation surrounding it, and I really didn't know much about the pirate radio industry or how important it was to people in Great Britain.
Yeah, the first time I listened to this album years ago, I picked it up on CD with a bunch of other, it was like on a Who buying spree. And this album always stood out to me just because of the advertisements that run throughout.
Finding out that for some reason Heinz Baked Beans would be upset, they get a free promotion on a million pieces of flyers or album covers or ads in magazines. It's beyond me to think that somebody would complain. Like, how dare you advertise our product? The times were different, I suppose.
From a musical standpoint, I don't think I realized how much Pete Townsend, he sings lead vocals on 4 of these songs. His wit is draped all over the satire that is The Who Sell Out. And if you're a fan of that from their mid to late 60s period, then this is where to go.
Pete Townsend invented the term kind of like power pop to explain the album exactly, and they were trying to counter or kind of poke fun at the Beatles a little bit, some of the more experimental albums out there with it, and having a little fun and cheekiness with it. Armenia in the City is a great example of, sounds like it's from 1967. Get what they were going for. It just kind of missed the mark, in my opinion.
If you like the mod period that came before or the stadium rock that they did in the 70s, then you're going to be disappointed, I think, in this. Jack was saying how this is laid out like pirate radio in the 60s. What would you guys say is your favorite jingle on this?
I think there's quite a bit on this album, but I gotta say that the first 20 seconds of the album with the robotic Monday, Tuesday kind of grips you, and you really think that this is going to be a fantastic album. And then Armenia in the City starts, and then you go, wait a minute, this should be more of a rock record.
I'll go with Pussycat as my favorite little jingle. I'm not sure if it's the end of Our Love Was or if it's the beginning of I Can See for Miles, but it's Pussycat, and then John Entwistle gets to use his little crazy voice. It's nice. I don't know what any of them are saying, but I like it.
I like at the end of Tattoo, the jingle where you've got the female chorus going, "Go to the church of your choice." It goes smooth right into Our Love Was. That sounds like something my grandparents would have dug back in the day.
Which member of The Who could I be and why? This is relatively easy for me. 2 of them are dead. I want to be alive. One of them has kind of a shady issue with some images on his computer. Don't want to be him. So I'm going to go with Roger Daltrey, who has also written the best song that references Dom DeLuise that I'm aware of.
Oh, that's After the Fire. I love that song.
I think I would have to be the bass player, John Entwistle. Deep voice is kind of brooding and scary, and I feel like Keith Moon would like get you into trouble a lot. So it'd be cool to be kind of the muscle of the group, because I don't think anyone wanted to mess with John Entwistle or Boris the Spider.
Okay, then I'll take Keith Moon. Why not? How cool would it be to be banned from every Holiday Inn in America for driving your car into a swimming pool on your 21st birthday in Flint, Michigan? That's a life we all want to live.
So the Who Sell Out be rated as maybe quite cheeky. So what do you guys think? The cheekiness of the Who Sell Out make you like the Who more or less?
I like the fact that we use cheeky a lot on this podcast. I would say that the strongest song on this album, by miles, is I Can See for Miles. And the concept that they had was building an album around that one terrific single. One of the best singles of the 60s. So if that's the center point of the album, the songs that are intertwined and the jingles that are intertwined through the Who Sell Out, the first few listens, when you first hear it, I think it's captivating. I think it's neat to hear as far as the concept goes. And I'm somebody who doesn't exactly go looking for satire. But in the end, I'd take songs over cheekiness any day. So there's a tipping point between the two. It's tough to judge. So you just try to sit back and enjoy.
I like that the Who did this in more sense that this was a time where you could put out an album or two a year. If this was one of those, you got to wait 3 years for the next record, and this is what came out, I may turn in my Who membership, fan club membership card. And it's an interesting album. It's a fun album. As a collection of singles, it doesn't work. As a concept album, making fun of over commercialism, it works, and it's beautiful.
I appreciate the cheekiness of the album, and you can tell that they're about to take that next step into like Tommy and Quadrophenia, and they're messing around with those ideas. It actually kind of made me like the Who less because of all the cheekiness. We know what comes after this. Think of the Who's next and how rocking and great of an album that is. Other than I Can See for Miles, there really isn't any of that on this album.
So when we came up with our rating scale, rating every song 1 to 10 on the Who Sell Out, I had the highest rating of 6.08. Jack had the lowest rating of 4.46. And as far as the top 3 songs, Jack was number 1.
I Can See for Miles is obviously a well-known single. It's going to last forever. It's going to be around forever.
Tattoo's really good. I've come to enjoy that song more.
And rounding out our top 3, Mary Ann with the Shaky Hand. Sounds like something Davy Jones would take a crack at.
What do you think for the Who Sell Out? Is it an album that people need to listen to before they die?
Pete Townshend's not going to go down being remembered for writing Ode or No. Am I glad that I listened to it before I die? And the answer is yes. By far, not the strongest Who album at all. This is something I think you should listen to before you die. Not on the strength of all the songs, but on the strength of the idea. More music, more music, more music, more music.
And I know it's 1967, but, again, I love the robotic, Monday, counting down the days of the week, and then just feel like they should have just put I Can See for Miles like right up next to it and just blasted straight into that song. I'm going to give it a big no. I'm going to say enjoy the album cover and then find another Who record and put that on instead.
Should you listen to this album before you die? Because of the way that we calculate and give numbers to the singles, I want to again preface it with the sum is greater than the parts that make up the whole. Some other songs are good, but they only work in terms of the concept album. I think you can pass. Who's Next is greatest hits album. It's so good. So because I anticipate there will be other Who albums on here, save yourself a little ear room for those ones.
All right, it looks like I'm alone. Yay on the Who Sell Out. But yeah, we should be seeing a few more Who albums if we keep going with this. We're running out short on time. Jack, why don't we give that wheel a spin for album number 11.
And the wheel has begun its spin, and it has landed on Low by David Bowie. Well, it looks like we're in for a fun trip to Berlin to detox with David Bowie and Iggy Pop.
The beginning of the Berlin trilogy for Bowie. All right, for Adam, get well soon, brother. And for Jack, I am Justin. Thanks for joining us. We love that you stop by and listen to what we have to say here on Wheel of Albums. See you next week with Low by David Bowie. Coke after Coke after Coke after Coca-Cola.